guess the best way to start is at the beginning. This is called the confluence. Start of the Big South Fork. We're going to make our way back to the O&W. Got Clear Fork on the right, and we got the New River on the left. And this is the start of the Big South Fork. It'll flow about 50 miles north and empty into the backwaters of the Cumberland Lake. Here at the East Rim Overlook in Big South Fork, every time I'm in the area I always stop here. Very easy paved path to the overlook, and it's just one of those things that you need to check out every time you're here. See it in all the different seasons, when the water levels up, down, leaves turning, no leaves at all. Just gives you a different feel every time you're here throughout the year, which is a good life's lesson. Seems like the things we experience in life are based on timing. Some things we experience and timing's just not right, and other times it is. So come on out and check out the East Rim Overlook, just minutes from the parking lots. I think you'll enjoy it. A lot of folks don't realize that in 1972 there was a effort to build a hydroelectric dam at Devil's Jump. Had that been approved, the view here would be remarkably different. This entire gorge would be full of water. I'd be looking at a lake scene instead of a wooded gorge. Thankfully, it didn't go through when we have the park that we see today. Below me is the trail from Leatherwood, goes over to the O&W. And we'll be over there shortly. We're to pick some iconic scenes from Big South Fork. You'll always see, of course, the river, probably the Twin Arches, and the O&W Bridge. It's just one of those scenes you associate with the park. It's got a long history behind it. This whole area of massive land was a long time ago called the Big Survey. It was rich in resources, timber and coal, but because of the remoteness, very difficult to get the raw materials out of here to market. So, early 1900s, started construction of a railroad, the O&W, Oneida Western, and had to cross the Big South Fork. The bridge was started, but here's a fact most folks don't know. Bridge was already existing at another railroad. It was torn down and reassembled and ready for business in 1917. So the bridge you're going to see is basically a bridge from another location that was rebuilt on the Big South Fork. Now, the company that built it, called the Nashville, or erected the bridge, they didn't build it, they erected it. Nashville Bridge Company, if you're familiar with Nashville, they had a business right on the Cumberland River between downtown and I-65. Well, Nashville decided that would be a really good location for the Tennessee Titans football stadium, so the Nashville Bridge Company had to relocate. They moved north of town to Ashland City, but in the interim, they had quit building bridges and were building barges, but they kept the name Nashville Bridge Company. I guess a good testament to how well the company is run, that you can stay in existence for 120 plus years. Once the bridge was opened up, coal, timber could leave this area, travel east of Jamestown, and then north up into the Ohio regions. Of course, this area wasn't exempt from the violence that occurred in the mining community in the 20s and 30s. A lot of conflict between the management and the workers. And as all good things, after the coal, the good quality coal, ran out, mines began to shut down. Most of the timber had been cut out. And folks that stayed in the mining, a lot of them migrated east over into the Wilder area until it played out in the early 60s. Last train that crossed the O&W, March 31st, 1954. My wife and I would come up here, and it was dead of winter when no one absolutely was here. I would ride the mountain bike to the bridge and around the O&W road, and got to the point where literally I didn't care to walk across the bridge. There were holes in the bottom. Side rails were almost non-existent. You could literally fall through if you weren't careful. Bridge was going to be shut down, but Scott County Park Service, other agencies got together and put a plan together to rebuild the bridge. And by 2017, the bridge had been rebuilt and back open. Train had several stops along the way. Left Oneida, Toomey, Gurnt, Zenith. Back years ago when we did paddle some, you recognize Gurnt, Zenith as places you could put your boat in. And sort of reminds me of the no business area. You go there today and you have trouble fathoming that there was a little community in each one of those areas. Said many times that nature will take over. Here at Sunset Overlook, I'm looking downriver towards the Leatherwood Ford Bridge. The Leatherwood Trail leaves the bridge, and to the right of the river there travels all the way around to the O&W. Again, another great view with a very short walk. We were just standing right over there a few minutes ago. This bridge is much nicer than it was when I was through here ages ago. Actually feel like I'm not going to fall through and kill myself. You can put your kayak in what they call the confluence and ride down to Leatherwood. It's right now about a class 1, about a class 2. Of course, when there's some really high water, that's a little bit gnarly. People like to play on this particular rapid. Alrighty, back to my right, that takes you back to Leatherwood, across the bridge, back to my left, the Devil's Den, the Needle's Eye. You can go back to Honey Creek, Jake's Hole, Burnt Mill, Rugby, lots of stuff on this side. Chateau Trace is just right around the ridge there. And if you go straight on, we're following the old O&W Railroad, and it's an equestrian trail that will take you to Gurnt, Zenith, all through there where the horse camps are. This particular bridge is called a Whipple through truss. What makes it unique is that the reinforcement iron, you can see the iron strips, they go across two different trusses. So that goes all the way across that first truss down to the second. So you have a much more rigid, stronger bridge. Whipple was the name of the engineer that designed this particular bridge. Not many left, so this is a great little landmark. Again, to say this is so much better than what it was last time I was here is a bit of an understatement. I would be looking down most of the time to make sure I didn't fall through. O&W.